Old friends are like old memories. They always remind you of your past, and we are reminding ourselves of the past episodes from this week of Good Company for the Best of Good Company with me, Hollie Taylor. I'm Hollie Taylor, and we had some big news in the Taylor household on Friday. But we got super busy with dance and everything. But my kid got into her middle school of choice. So she was super excited. We finally got to let the school know. It was a big deal. And it's just a lot of fun. Now she's in an arts program. Well, she will be in the fall. It's nice to have some kind of direction. And so she's now actively trying to figure out which instrument that she wants to say that she would like to play during their music class. That was not on my list of things to do at the start of last week, but now we're looking into different instruments, and she used to play the violin, so I'm trying to encourage her to do that because she's gone through the initial awkward phase of learning to play an instrument. And if you've ever listened to a child learning to play an instrument, it could be the most beautiful instrument ever, but the noises they make, yeah, the squeak and squawk of a violin. So I'd love for her to come in kind of at like, I have a basic understanding already of said instrument instead of that, you know exactly what I'm talking about. And so maybe there's an instrument that you would just rather not have people play around you. I would say actually bagpipes. My really good friend in high school, his dad decided to learn to play the bagpipes when we were in grade 11. Instant embarrassment for my friend because we would come over and he'd be practicing all the time. And that is a hard instrument to go through that awkward squawking initial phase. So, what instrument comes to mind for you? 905-338-1250 as we talk about some of those instruments that are just awkward. We are talking about some of those awkward instruments. Message already here from Sarah. She says, recorder, my granddaughter. Yes, my granddaughter is learning recorder. It's grade 4. It's special. Hot cross buns. I mean, 'tis the season. I mean, it is Easter, so that might come in handy. But that is definitely one of those instruments, even if you play it well, yeah, not my favorite sound. Producer Mike, is there an instrument for you that you're just like, oy?
Oh, immediately brought me back to grade 10 trying to learn the saxophone.
Oh, the squawks.
Yeah, and it's loud.
Yeah.
You can't play the saxophone quietly or nothing comes out.
Yeah, and if you don't have the right embouchure, good luck getting any noise out.
Yeah, that's a tricky one. Have you ever seen a saxophone mute?
Yes, actually I have.
For our listeners who haven't, it's basically like a guitar case that goes around the saxophone and muffles every sound that comes out of that thing.
Yeah, every parent needs those. Yeah. Maybe a drum muter as well. I've seen those. It's like this beautiful clear plexiglass that mutes the sound.
Yeah, and you ever seen the bass drum? They stuck towels or blankets or something
Yes,
in. Yeah.
To try to dampen it just a touch. Yeah, those are things that they should just give parents if kids are going into a band or some kind of instrument-related course at school. Oh, yes, the fun Casio pianos of the 80s, says Tina. She says she had one and her parents would always say, just stop. Stop playing, please. And now as a parent herself, she remembers when her kids did the same thing on the piano. And yeah, it's a different, it hits differently when you get older, doesn't it? As the kids would say. When you're younger, like, ooh, this sounds so great. As an adult, it just sounds like racket. Can I add harmonica to the list? Yeah. Bagpipes, harmonica. But here's something kind of cool. Maybe your kids might go to school and start playing the accordion. Hugely successful and popular in the 60s. Making a comeback. I watched a video about the accordions, and you know what? Not going to show that to my daughter. We've hung out a lot, and so you probably know by now I have a thing for history. I love it. So, we work downtown Oakville is where our offices are, and so I like to go through some of the different side streets and read all the plaques on the houses, because I'm a nerd. So when producer Mike stumbled upon this neat little find, this is probably I'm going to be dragging my kids to do this weekend.
This isn't nearly as close to our studio here. This one's in Toronto.
Yeah.
So take you back to the turn of the 20th century.
Okay.
We don't have so many cars.
Right.
We don't have gas stations nearly as many.
Right.
But our vehicles need to be fed and watered.
Exactly.
When we were riding horseback. And so there would be these water fountains set up all over the city for horses and people and dogs alike. It's these little like troughs.
I love it.
They're these,
They look so ornate too.
Water fountains for horses and humans. So you'd park outside the bank or something.
Yeah.
You'd hitch your horse and he'd grab a drink while you did your business.
Yeah.
You'd come back out. Maybe you'd grab a drink as well.
Yeah.
Then you'd hit the road.
Nice. While little Betsy Lou was walking her dog, and then the dog gets a drink.
Yeah, sure. Why not? I'm not sure about the sanitation, and that is something that they mentioned, is that as these things became more important, we moved away from those. But there is...
Sanitation? Who needs it?
There is still one at St. James Park in Toronto.
Okay.
You can see it on Google Street View, but I think you should drag your kids there.
I think I should. I think I might. I'm very excited to check this out. A little bit of history that still lives in the heart of Toronto. I'm Hollie Taylor, and it is interesting when you do some scrolling, you'll see the social media influencers. Dun, dun, dun. Even as I say this, producer Mike, the look on his face is like, oh.
I had the dun, dun, dun between my ears before you even said it.
Yeah, because it was a huge thing. A lot of people on social media would say, oh, I'm an influencer to get free things. The true social media influencers, let's face it, they kind of made us feel bad. I watched a few stories, and it was these moms of their perfect lives. And I'm like, that's not my life, but I love my kids. So it just was, I don't know, a phase, I guess, that we went through as we were utilizing social media that is now on the downtrend due to some influencers just saying yes to endorse something that maybe didn't align with them, maybe didn't align with those who were following them on social media, and kind of made them look like a bunch of sellouts. People saying, oh, can I even trust that? Is that drink really that tasty? Will it really, make me feel amazing? And so actually 56% of Gen Zers, Gen Zers, sure, we'll go with that one, who were trying to pursue a career, the number has dropped, and the career was to be an influencer. Ugh. Now they're down to 34%, have actually quit one form of social media or another. People looking for authenticity, left, right, and center. And the best place to get influence is not from people you don't know, people who you only see a certain, ratio of screen time. You don't know what's happening around that. I mean, I've taken pictures and literally just shoved the dirt and laundry out of the way just to get the nice looking shot. That wasn't my life. That was just a mere blip in time. So influencers online on the decrease. Makes sense though. AI, we're hearing about international election interference, people utilizing content and not giving us the truth. So where do you find the truth? Okay, I know a lot of you just said the Bible. Yes. But outside of that, where are you pulling your influence from? 905-338-1250. Want to know about the people who influenced you the most in a positive way. We're talking influences today, those good influences. I know growing up I had a youth group mentor. Our youth pastor was someone I really looked up to. He was a great leader and encouraged me to get into leadership at a young age, and just was very positive, but also because I trusted him, he was able to speak into me and offer a little correction. It's like if you wouldn't receive a positive message from someone, don't receive a negative message from that same person. And so it was a good rule of thumb. And yeah, he was a really great influence on me. And now I hope that I can be an influence on my kids in that same positive way. So positive influences. Who's one of yours? 905-338-1250. Tyler says, my uncle was a huge role model for me. I always appreciated and listened to his words of wisdom growing up, more so than my own parents. Yeah, I get that, hey? It's easier sometimes when it's not a parent to take them a bit more seriously. I don't know why that is. It just is. I'm Hollie Taylor, and I hope you have an incredible Easter long weekend. It is one of those roller coaster kind of weekends where we start off by remembering how he literally just chose to die for our sins. And then, thinking about Mary, thinking about the disciples and just the sheer devastation they would have felt. And they had to wait 3 days. But then we know the story. Jesus was alive. So, a few things to remember this Easter. Remember that Jesus bore the stripes of pain and suffering. He bowed under the weight of the cross. He shed his blood. He said, "It is finished." He entered the tomb. He broke the bonds of death. He rose to live forever. Remember his sacrifice, his pain, his joy. For by the power given to Jesus to overcome death, he has proven there is no death when we put our trust in him. Something very important to remember. Have a great long weekend, and we will see you on Monday. Well, that's a wrap. Those are our favorite memories from this past week. Join me for more Good Company live every weekday from 4:30 till 6 p.m. here on Joy Radio. Oh, and don't forget, you can also catch up by subscribing to our Joy Radio podcast. If you'd like to join in on the conversation, text 905-338-1250. Thanks for listening. We'll see you on Monday.